The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
All right, everybody, it's Friday. We had to push back the Players Lounge a little bit. We kind of had to make sure that things got tightened up around here, and we've done our best. So we've got an hour to go here. I'm Newy Scruggs, joined by former Dallas Cowboys players Danny McCray and Barry Church here on a Friday at DallasCowboys.com radio. Fellas, how we doing?
Just amazing over here on my side. Just amazing.
I'm doing good over here
Church,
too, man.
how you
I'm doing good. I just put together, one of the biggest Hot Wheels sets I've ever had to do in my life. So I'm doing all right over here.
Hey, man, I got 3 girls, so I don't know what Hot Wheels sets are. I don't have Tonka toys, man. Yeah, when you got girls, man, I didn't get to have any of that. So I'm a little bit jealous of you, man, because I would love to have a little Hot Wheels to put together. But hey, it is what it is. Church, you looking good in those Bose headphones. I got mine. McCray, how come you're not matching?
Man, listen, I don't know if Bose didn't want to deliver mine, to my spot or not, but they just a little late. So maybe next time y'all see me, I'll have on some Bose.
Okay, well, definitely.
Hey, man, you live closest to the Star too.
I know, man. I don't know why they do me like this, man. Like the stepchild.
All right, so definitely next Friday when we recap day 1 of the draft, you will have your Bose headphones on, so all 3 of us will match here on the Players Lounge. Topic number 1 that I want to get to is something that I saw today. Adam Schefter of ESPN tweeted out that Jamal Adams has told the Jets he's not going to participate at all in the offseason program. So then you add the fact that Schefter tweeted the Jets were not looking to extend his contract at all. So that got Cowboy fan thirsty all day long talking about Jamal Adams because the Cowboys and the Jets had conversations about Adams last year. So, gentlemen, do you want to start those talks again? David came out straight.
Nope. Don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it. You got, we talked about this earlier, you got too many other areas that you need to focus on. We have 2 starting caliber safeties already. So, I mean, I don't think we should go out and do that. And Newy has been adamant on saying then we have to pay him a ton of money to keep him here. So I don't think it makes sense. So that's a hard no for me.
Yeah,
Church?
for me, I'm gonna have to agree with D-Mac on this one. That's a hard no. I mean, he's a hell of a player, hell of a safety, great playmaker, but it just adds to another piece of the puzzle that you're gonna have to eventually pay and shove out money to. And we already see we're in a fighting chance with our quarterback right now over contract disputes. So that's just not just another guy that you want to throw in there. He's a great safety. He'll elevate our defense, but I just don't think it's worth it right now. If he was the only piece of the puzzle left to get to this championship that we want so bad, then yeah, I would pull the trigger. But I mean, you got Clinton Dix back there now, and then you got Woods back there as well, who's a young, promising safety. So I just don't see the reason to pull the trigger on this one. Hell of a player, but I'm gonna have to pass for myself.
All right, Cowboy fans, want to let you know, according to Spotrac.com here, Jamal Adams will make $7.1 million in 2020. Then he's under contract for 2022. Here's also something else you need to know. Not only are the Cowboys going to have to trade a draft pick to the Jets, you're going to have to sign him to a deal. Much like what we saw last year with Ezekiel Elliott holding out and saying, hey, I want a new contract. Adams is doing the same thing. Here are the numbers for the top safeties that are being paid in the NFL right now. The Bears gave Eddie Jackson a deal. He's being paid, the highest safety in the game right now, $14.6 million. Number 2 is Kevin Bynard of the Tennessee Titans, making $14.1. So we know when these guys come up here for the Cowboys that they want to be paid the highest at their positions. We saw it with Zach Martin. We saw it with Omar Cooper. We saw it with Zeke Elliott. We saw it with Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick. Jamal Adams is going to want the same thing. So you're talking $15 million for a safety. And if Dak Prescott gets his contract and becomes the highest paid guy in his position, he'll be making $35 million per season. I just don't see how the Dallas Cowboys can give up draft capital and then turn around and pay Jamal Adams $15 million a year. So anybody who's thinking about the 17th overall pick for Jamal Adams, I tell you right now, stop. The reason I'm not going to give up a number 1 pick for Jamal Adams is I therefore have to pay him money. I remember when Marshall Faulk was traded from the Colts to the Rams. The Rams gave up a 2 and a 5. And the reason they did that is because they also had to go ahead and give Marshall a new contract. So if the Cowboys are even thinking about a Jamal Adams trade, which Stephen Jones was asked about on the Fan at noon, I think you got to start with no less than a 2. I mean, I just say not less, but just it has to start at a 2. There's no way you can give up the first round pick at 5 years guaranteed of a guy in the first round to go ahead and make a trade for a Jamal Adams, gentlemen.
Yeah, I just don't see that. Go ahead, D-Mac.
I'm just saying quickly, just the same as Coop. It's the same situation. You trade for this guy, he comes in, he makes this huge impact, and you got to pay him. And I would say that us having to pay Coop is kind of slowing down us getting to pay Dak. So we're in this situation now, and we want to do the same thing again next year. Doesn't make sense. So, yeah, giving up your 17th pick, no. Starting at a 2, you still just giving up a lot for a guy that may not even be on your team the following year.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for him because, I mean, we're in the same situation where we had with Byron Jones this past year. I mean, people were saying, he wants to be the highest paid corner, and Cowboys fans had a problem because he wasn't getting interceptions. I mean, Jamal Adams is known to be this box safety. He's not really a ball hawking safety. Yeah, he'll get you maybe 1 or 2 a year, but he's not like the Eddie Jacksons. He's not like the Tyrann Matthews. He's not going to go out there and get you a bunch of ball hawking interceptions, and that's what the secondary needs right now. So I just don't see, giving him or trading for him, then paying him all these big bucks when we had a problem with Byron Jones not getting interceptions. I just think we need a ball hawking safety, and I don't think he's the answer right now.
Okay, so the three of us are in agreement that we love Jamal Adams from Hebron as a player, but not in terms of making a trade and then therefore turning around and paying him $15 million. So at the 17th overall pick, let's revisit the topic we talked about last week. Grant Delpit of LSU is rated as the top safety, and Xavier McKinney of Alabama is rated number 2. Would you want the Cowboys to go to 17? Last week when we to take a safety at 17, McCray, when we spoke last week, you went back into how the Cowboys already have 2 guys under contract and you didn't think that they would bring in another safety. So go ahead and explain for anyone who missed that last week.
Yeah, I still don't think that's just a good choice with the fact that we have Woods, who's a proven starting caliber safety back there. You picked up Clint Dix, who is a starting caliber safety, proven over the years to make big plays, and then you have a guy who you're going to draft in the first round and put one of those guys to the bench or release. I just don't think that makes much sense when you could use that 17th pick to help you out in a position where you need some serious help. I just don't see safety as being that big of an issue, and I really didn't see it last year. I actually saw a grade of Jeff Heath came out last year, just to give him a shout out, as being one of the most consistent and sure tacklers in the league. I just don't think safety is that big of an issue for us at this moment. So 17, I just don't see it.
Church?
For me at 17, I'm going to stick with my guns. I think last week I had us taking Diggs, the corner out of Alabama, and I just saw his pro comparison. His pro comparison is Jalen Ramsey. They're both long, they're both fast, can run with anybody, and they're physical. And we saw, this is a guy in Jalen Ramsey who's all over the place. So I think we want to bring a guy like Diggs in there to kind of shadow, to be able to shut down number ones. We saw what happened. We passed up on Ramsey last time. Yeah, we got Zeke instead, but Ramsey's an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber corner who we passed up on. I don't see there being an Ezekiel Elliott in this draft. So for me, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna stick with Diggs. He's a solid corner out there, and I think we need corners more than we need safeties at this point. Like Danny said, we got a guy in Clinton Dix back there who they just gave $4 million to come in there. We got Woods in there who's steadily becoming a better and better safety as the years go on. So I think safety is pretty much solid, and I think the biggest need for the secondary and this defense overall would be corner, and I think Diggs fits the mold perfectly.
All right, for any of the listeners out there who don't know, Danny McCray and Barry Church are both defensive guys. So they understand the position. And then Barry played in Jacksonville with Jalen Ramsey when he left the Cowboys. So explain to the listeners here and viewers what having a guy like Ramsey did to help that Jacksonville defense.
Well, having a guy that can pretty much shut down the half of the field, not even that, pretty much shadow the number one receiver. If you got a guy like that who can play with any receiver out in this league, you just say, look, that's your man over there. I want you to shut him down. And you don't have to worry about that side of the field. I mean, yes, he's going to give up catches, but he's going to make up plays as well. And that just lets you focus more on blitzing. You're able to blitz your linebackers more. You're able to do more stunts with your defensive line because the quarterback's going to have to hold the ball, or it's going to force the quarterback to go to his second and third option, which if you beat us with your second and third option at receiver, then you deserve to win the game on that one. So, I mean, overall, just having a guy that can blanket a receiver out there, and not only that, he's physical. He can tackle in the game because nowadays a lot of these DBs, a lot of corners, they make business decisions when it comes to tackling, and that's a guy that I respect because he was able to come in there at corner and hit like a safety. And from the highlights I've seen with Diggs, I mean, he has that same prototypical build that's able to play good against the run and against the pass. So that's why I'm so adamant on them taking him. But if you lose a guy like Byron Jones out there at the corner, you're going to have to get somebody to take his shoes, and I just don't think we have that in the building right now at the corner position.
McCray, let me ask you about Diggs playing at Alabama. You played at LSU. You played in the SEC. How much do you think it matters when you play in a conference like that and in that Western division, and there's not a tougher division in all of college football than that SEC West?
I think it's huge. I mean, I think it's proven over the years, too. You see the guys that come out of that conference, and those guys are NFL ready when they come out. And then you look at a guy like him who had to play against LSU last year, who had a Justin Jefferson, Chase, top quarterback. So he saw some of the best receivers that he will ever see in college. And then he was also coached by one of the best defensive coaches for college at his position for DB by Nick Saban. So I think if anybody is NFL ready, is coming out of SEC and playing for Nick Saban, it will be Diggs.
Okay, so Diggs at 17 could be there. There's a lot of mock drafts that had C.J. Henderson of Florida going to the Cowboys. Now, Jacksonville, your old place, Barry Church, is in an interesting position because they got rid of Ramsey. A.J. Boye's not there anymore. Yannick Ngakoue on the D-line wants out. They've got left tackle issues there. So just based on your knowledge of Jacksonville, where do you think they go at 9?
I think at 9, they have to go corner, man. Like you just mentioned, they're in the same type of boat as the Dallas Cowboys are in. They lost Jalen Ramsey via trade, and they traded A.J. Boye as well. Both of their solid corners on the outside. And I think they have now, there's Trey Herndon, and that's it over there at the cornerback position for them. So they're going to have to go secondary to me in this draft. They just paid the linebacker from Cleveland to go down there. I believe they have on their mock draft them going after the guy from Oklahoma. I think his name is Murray, the one we had looked at his interview last show on Friday. But to me, they're all about having speed on their defense, being able to fly around. You already got the kid from Cleveland. You got Miles Jack there. And like you said, Ngakoue, who's one of the premier pass rushers in the league, he's already spoken saying he does not want to come back there. He does not want to be a part of that organization. But they did slap the franchise tag on him, so more than likely he will be back there. So we'll see what happens with that. But there's a lot of mess going down there in Jacksonville, but I can see them going secondary and taking a corner as well.
So we know Jeff Okudah, the kid from Grand Prairie, should be a top 5 pick. And that's the number 1 corner on basically everyone's board, with C.J. Henderson number 2, which brings us into guys that the Cowboys have talked to. Diggs, Jeff Gladney of TCU is a guy there. Fulton over there at LSU. There's another corner. Danny, give us a little bit of insight on Fulton from LSU.
This guy's been a starter for years. He's a proven player. The only thing that takes away from him and his shine is that he has a guy like Delpit, and then he had a guy like Stingley come in the previous years. But you haven't heard anything bad about his play. He's a good physical corner. He's coached by great coaches. He has speed. He can tackle, and he makes plays on the ball. He's been doing this for years at LSU. So this is a no-brainer for me as well. It's just a few names that may be more known out there than he is, but he's still a great pick for any team.
All right, you are checking out the Players Lounge here on DallasCowboys.com radio. I'm Newy Scruggs. We've got Barry Church and Danny McCray with us here. McCray, Church, 17. I'm a guy that says, sit there, take your guy. There are a lot of folks out there that want to see a trade down. In your opinion, Church, should the Cowboys take that best player that hits them for defense at 17, or do they entertain trading down?
That's a tough one, but for me, it would. I would stay at 17 and get the best defender available. If you trade down, the best defender down there, I mean, you might be able to sniff around Okuda, the corner from Ohio State, but I feel like he'll be gone top 5, and I just don't think you have the ammunition to trade down enough to get down in the top 5. So if I were them, I would stay where they're at. I'm sure one of those top corners will still be around 17, like you mentioned, the kid from Florida, or the guy we were just talking about, Diggs from Alabama, or the LSU kid. I think they'll still be there. So I think they have plenty of options at 17. I don't think it's worth the risk to go down there and trade down to get, one of the top defenders down there when they're pretty much evenly based out throughout the first top 20 picks. So if I was them, I would stay where they're at and get the best defender.
McCray?
Yeah, as them thinking business-wise, if the offer is good enough, I think you have to entertain it to some extent. If your player is still sitting there 2 picks before and you think you trade down to 19 or 20 and he still be there, then maybe that's a good case. But at 17, I mean, is it worth the risk to miss out on a player that's on your board that falls to you at that position? I don't think so. But you never know. In that war room, it gets a little difficult and tensions get high. So we'll be able to watch next week.
All right, so
Newy, let me ask you a question, Newy.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Do you feel like there's any offensive player in this draft worth trading down for, or do you think it's got to be defense?
Wait, are we talking trading back or trading up?
Trading up. I'm sorry, trading up.
Gotcha.
No, there's really not. This is all about your defense now. You brought it, first off, and I will not be able to stress this enough. You bring in Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is already a guy that understands offense. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's coached an MVP quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. You're paying this guy good money to come in here and take a lot of the pieces you have and excel them. Take them up another level here. You've already paid the receiver. You've paid your line. You've paid your running back. You're going to pay your quarterback. Nah, you don't get any more help. You make do with what you got. Basically, Bill Parcells used to say, they want you to cook the meal, shop for the groceries. Well, guess what? Jerry went out there and bought you a slew of food on offense. The defense is hungry. The defense needs help. And I go back to what we talked about last week on the Players Club and 2 weeks before that. The Cowboys have an issue with their roster when you start talking about how many dudes are up after the 2020 season. There's a lot of guys on one-year deals right now. And in the secondary alone, there's only one player that's under contract past this season. And that's your corner Brown. So you've got to start to address these needs here. And the beauty of a first-round pick is 5 years of control. 5 years of control where the price tag on these guys is it's friendly to the club. You ain't got to pay them until year 6. So to me, if you're the Cowboys, you spend all this money on offense, and of course we got Tank making a lot of money on defense, number 1 paid defensive end in the game. You have to start to give Mike Nolan the pieces, and to me, I think that starts with a corner. Unless you decide that Caleb Chason from LSU is what you need up front, because to me, it has to be the corner or somebody on the edge is helping you up front.
You're right. It's got to be the edge guy, because I think you're paying DeMarcus Lawrence 21 million. I think that's what it is. 121 million. He's got to produce. He's got to produce. He shouldn't have to have a Robin on the other side to help him out, man. 121 million, man. It's got to be the secondary for me.
Yeah, you got to go. To me, you got to go secondary. Like they picked up Alden Smith. They banking on Randy Gregory. They get reinstated. They got Crawford. They got some guys on the D-line. Cornerback, to me, is you let your best corner get out of there because he was too expensive. This is a way for you to get a corner that you think is just as good but will be cheaper and will be on the line for 5 years unless he has Zeke's agent.
Rocky Arsenault, that is Zeke's agent. Rocky Arsenault, the light-skinned brother, Rocky Arsenault.
Yeah, man, get you paid early, man. Come on, get your check.
Okay, we've got to take a break. Let's get into House Party 4, because they made House Party 1, House Party 2, they made House Party 3. Dak Prescott number 4 is House Party 4. We'll dive into that and the controversy that it caused He's dating McCray, Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Players Lounge on DallasCowboys.com radio.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
It's right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus!
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down. Based on GWS One score, September 2019.
Back to the Players Lounge.
All right, everybody, Friday, and we are less than 1 week away from the start of the NFL Draft. It will kick off on Thursday. First round, rounds 2 and 3 will be on Friday. Then 4 through 7 are on Saturday, and DallasCowboys.com is going to have you covered for all your draft needs. So we're going to continue to dive and talk about the draft here on our show, and also other things popping around the National Football League. I'm Newy Scruggs, joined by former Dallas Cowboys DBs Danny McCray and Barry Church. So in the news this week, Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, he went hard after Dak Prescott for hosting a gathering at his home. And the TMZ report came out, said 30 people were there. And Dak Prescott says that wasn't true. COVID-19 is going on, and people are questioning, the social distancing and whether or not Dak Prescott was using that properly here. The one thing that I came away from is Dak got to get some better friends, because somebody leaked some videos and passed a couple $100 to TMZ. I mean, right out the gate, you got to get some better friends. It's not going to come up in your place where you feeding them for free, and they go sit around here, take some video that had Zeke in there, and then go sell it for a couple nickels and dimes to TMZ, man.
Let me tell you something. Those are not his friends, one, and that's how you know it was. It had a little bit more than 10 people, or people within that group were just invite only. Like, that was it. All those people didn't know him, and they didn't respect him enough to keep that under wraps. And it was somebody who just was invited, and they figured they wanted to make a couple extra bucks. So, TMZ, here you go.
Give me your take.
We talking about house party out here, man. Hey, look, I will say one thing, man. TMZ, I mean, to their credit, they're usually 99, 95% correct on their breaking stories. I'm just gonna put that out there, but. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail right on the coffin, Danny. I mean, whoever was over there and blabbed like that wasn't his real friend. It was probably the friend was invited, so they invited the friend of a friend or something like that situation, because they went all out to snitch to TMZ to get this bread real quick. But do I think it was more than 10 people? Yeah, I do think it was a little bit more than 10 people. I don't know about 30, but I do think it was a little bit more than 10 people. I mean, people ain't going to just call the cops if they just see, a couple people here and there. So I think it was a little bit more than 10. The spread was nice, but They definitely did Nick and Sam's. They put Nick and Sam's up there, though. That wasn't Nick and Sam's. But overall, I think it was more than 10.
For me, I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, all right, you riding with an NFL quarterback here who's about to get a contract of, probably $35 million a year. And you gonna mess this up for this guy for a couple $100 and then also mess up your ability to ride on this gravy train here. I mean, that would tick me off to no extent. Now, I'm not Dak Prescott. I'm not a 26-year-old guy. But man, for the fact that I'm trying to get $35 million a year, I wouldn't have anybody around me because I'm trying to make sure I get all this bread I can. And what did we see with DeSoto's own Von Miller? He got COVID-19. I mean, this thing is no joke, and it can get to anyone. And we saw 2 NFL players this week that have come out and said, hey, I have contracted the coronavirus. Who knows who else has it? This is not trying to say anything. I mean, you guys understand. If you're a free agent, the last thing you're going to do is tell a team that you got COVID-19. You're not telling a team. You're trying to get yourself as healthy as you can. I mean, really.
I don't got it.
I ain't got it. I'm healthy. I'm good. I mean, you can't. I mean, can you imagine? Hey, yeah, we signed so-and-so, and he got coronavirus. Hopefully he's okay whenever we get back. So, I mean, Dak Prescott, you a free agent, man. I would make sure nobody's around me, man.
Newy, come on, listen, let me tell you something. If it comes up in negotiations that his price is dropping now because he could possibly have COVID-19, the Cowboys are not serious about paying this dude. That is not a big of enough deal to affect this. And Dak is still telling y'all, I'm not logging on to no WebEx or no Zoom session to do none of that for y'all. No OTAs. Try me.
So that brings me back to this, though, what I asked y'all last week. So you see he ain't doing no virtual training. He said he ain't going to show up until, his deal is there. Do you think he ain't going to show up to training camp or mandatory minicamp if we have one?
I'm gonna say, what does mandatory minicamp consist of? Is that more open up your laptop and let's see what's going on in the film room, or is it they have to actually go in? I don't think he'll do either one, but we'll see.
You see with the new CBA out that. Go ahead, Newy.
I was just gonna say that with this virtual training, what does that consist of? Do you just have to pop it on and they see you? I mean, how do you count that? Because I saw where they talked about guys are going to be able to pick up their workout bonuses through these virtual things. So I mean, I'm trying to figure out what does that truly look like. And if you're Mike McCarthy, how do you install your offense? What are they going to have? Dak and Cooper and all these lines. What are they going to really do?
Well, you see, they're talking about sending out Apple Watches and these little, because when we played church, you remember we had those devices on that would tell you how fast you ran, how much you ran throughout the practice. They're talking about sending those out to players, and then you will have to do your workout and reach a certain point on those devices in order to have that considered to be a real workout. So I mean, that's one thing. That's one thing that I heard so far. We'll see. Yeah.
You can go ahead and pay somebody to go run some miles for. Hey, take this.
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. If you're an NFL athlete and you pay somebody to go work out for you, you do not deserve to be on anybody's team.
That's true too. That is true too.
Like, come on, bro. You're supposed to be working out already, anyways. You gonna go pay somebody to run around? Like, put your device on the dog and let them go run around the park? Come on, man.
Hey, man. Right now, I mean, we've all kind of this Corona, man. We've all kind of dialed it down a little bit, man. I mean, hey, you never know, man. I have a story that I will tell you offline about one player who paid another player to do this particular duty for him. So.
Listen, I know what you're talking about. We talk about that. We talk about that offline. There's a lot of stories for that.
I'm just saying, so it's not like we don't have the same players. Go ahead and get somebody else to do.
That's not the same.
That's true.
That's not the same. That is not the same. But I got you. You could. That's far in between what we talking about. But yeah, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, I didn't see the Von Miller interview today. McCray, what did he have to say when he came out and let everybody know about his issues dealing with the coronavirus?
Basically, they asked him, how he was feeling. What did he think that he did wrong, or was he doing everything right? And he came out, and the beginning of the interview started with him, talking about how he did everything right. He only went to the store a few times. It's just him and his brother over there. And then they keep pushing a little bit, and they're asking him, so what do you think could have caused this? Was there any, maintenance people that came over? He's like, yeah, well, the plumber came over, the fish tank man came over, and then also, I had a couple players come over and work out at my gym. And I'm like, this is just adding up to wrong. The longer you talk, the more I'm picking out. I can name 5 or 6 people that you could have possibly got this from.
I'm sitting there. I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean you doing everything right? You got players coming into your crib. Who knows who they touched or where they been traveling? And y'all hitting the same weights. Y'all probably dapping each other up. Good work. I mean, it's I just don't understand what you mean you done everything right. Coughing on each other. Let me get a swig of that water. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Yeah, and that didn't make sense to me. I was like, man, please stop talking. But one, you have to try to understand how you could get it if you actually stayed in the house the entire time and did everything right. Which I don't know if that's possible, but it's obvious that it was more people that he was in contact with than just him.
Was the fish tank man needed? What kind of fish
you listen. It's 5 weeks, man. You still got to make sure you keep that stuff up. I don't have a fish tank, but I've seen some dirty ones before, and that's not something you want in your house.
But isn't this that time right now where you have to kind of do some things yourself? Like you become the fish tank man. I mean, you'll go to YouTube and see how you clean the fish a little bit. I mean,
no, let me tell you something. If you don't know how to change oil, you're not gonna get out there and change your own or looking at YouTube. That's just something you're not gonna want to do. You still gonna call that same person over.
But here's the difference: the oil man is open. That's an essential business.
Well, obviously, the fish tank man's open. The fish tank man's open too. He's maintenance. For Vaughn, who's doing everything right, that's essential.
Vaughn ain't doing nothing right. I'll tell you.
Did Vaughn say if the barber came over too?
Man, people about to start coming out of the woodworks after that interview. They're gonna be like, everybody been at Von Miller House.
Well, I was over there last week.
So TMZ gonna have the whole list of everybody who was at Vaughn's house.
Oh well, he recorded it all the cars pulling up in the driveway, all the cars leaving.
Man.
Okay. Let's talk about another NFL topic this week, which affected the Cowboys because a lot of people slammed the Cowboys after giving Ezekiel Elliott a new contract, saying you don't pay running backs. And Zeke became the highest paid running back in the NFL until this week when the Carolina Panthers decided that they were going to pay Christian McCaffrey the highest contract for an NFL running back. McCaffrey last year was absolutely sensational for the Carolina Panthers. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on Run CMC cashing in big time?
Oh, yeah, you got it, Church.
Run CMC, man, cashing in. Congrats to that man, because he definitely deserved that contract. Like you said, I think he had over 1,000 yards receiving. I think he had 1,500 or so yards rushing the ball. I mean, countless touchdowns. The guy deserved his money, man. So congrats to him to getting paid. But for me, this is more about the other guys out there, the Drakes of the world, the Derrick Henrys of the world. It's funny to me, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this, but it's funny how, going into the draft or when it's time to pay a running back, that position is devalued. You don't want to take a running back that high in the first round because, they're devalued, or you don't want to pay this guy after 5 years. You ran him down, they're devalued. But nobody says nothing when, Derrick Henry's carrying his whole team into the AFC Championship. Nobody says anything about the running back being devalued then. So I just want to get your thoughts on it. Do you think the running back position is devalued, or do you think this is a new trend coming?
McCray, you start.
I don't. I've never been one to think that the running back position is devalued. I think that it's top three most important positions on the field as far as how you're planning to play, go out and play a game, your scheme, and because you got to think about it. Running game affects how you play in defense if you're able to control the ball, how you do play action, It helps out your quarterback if he's a rookie or if he just needs a little help in getting some guys open. Your screen game. The running back to me is one of the most important positions on the field, and it always will be, and it will always show in the playoffs. It will always show. That's what we saw with Derrick Henry. Most important guy in the playoffs for his team was Derrick Henry. And Christian McCaffrey went out and showed that as well for the last 2 years. That dude was absolutely amazing overall. So the running back position is definitely high, but people want to save money. They want to knock it. So that's the route that they're taking.
McCray, I'm with you 100%. I loved what Derrick Henry did. He was the offense, and you saw what he did at Alabama as well. I mean, he won a national championship and a Heisman Trophy there. I mean, they used the player. I was a big fan of Christian McCaffrey back when he was over at Stanford, and David Shaw was using him. And Ezekiel Elliott, I contend all day long. The Cowboys needed to take him at 4 when they did. My issue with Ezekiel Elliott has been their lack of using him enough in the passing game, because we know what he can do with the football. I feel like they don't get the guy enough touches here. So if you've got an elite running back, and those are 3 elite running backs, well, doggone it, you pay elite players. Now, I look at Melvin Gordon, who held out last year with the Chargers, was trying to get a contract that offered him $10 million a year. He turned it down like a fool. They got Austin Eckler out here. Austin Eckler went out here and put up production. I mean, you got to know your value and know your worth. Melvin Gordon tried to put himself in that category of Zeke. When you've got a special player, and I don't care what position it is, guys. It could be at center. It could be at tight. If you've got a special player, then you pay the special player. And I think all 3 of those guys we mentioned here, Zeke, Run CMC, and Derrick Henry, these are guys that are difference makers on their football team, and you pay difference makers.
I agree with you 100%. You got to pay the man, and they paid Zeke, his big contract last year. But with that point that you're making, saying if he's special, you pay him. Why haven't they paid for yet?
They're trying
pay who? Oh, that
they're trying to.
Are they?
I don't know.
Are they? Goodness, I don't. They talk about dragging feet. This is the perfect. Good. We've been talking about this since the season.
All right. Let's take a break here. When we come back, let's dive into what you said, Church, questioning whether or not they want to pay for, because I'm going to go a different direction. So let's dive into that. He's Barry Church, Danny McCray. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is the Players Lounge on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team. Get yours today in the Stadium Pro Shop or at Stetson.com.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's best network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down. Based on GWS 1 score September 2019.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
So, you're shopping, and that's when you see it. Aisle 23. Dr. Pepper stacked from top to bottom as far as the eye can see. The phrase too good to be true comes to mind, yet there it is. A rich, delicious Dr. Pepper paradise. Wait, did that can of Dr. Pepper just open itself for you? They all are. As if to say, so nice to treat you. And even though it feels weird to talk to a can, you pick one up and say, it's so nice to be treated. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Friday edition of the Players Lounge. I'm Newy Scruggs, joined by former Dallas Cowboys DBs Danny McCray and Barry Church. TV-wise this week, I got sucked into watching the O.J. Simpson docu-series. My kids wanted to watch it. They're like, who's O.J. Simpson? So they started watching it. Next thing I know, I got pulled in to watching the one. That's the one that Cuba Gooding Jr. was in with Courtney. I played O.J. and Courtney B. Vance played Johnny Cochran. And then my wife got all into the scene when they had him try on the gloves. And she was like, "That they shouldn't have never had him do that." And I said, "You got to rewatch the movie." She's like, "But everyone knows those gloves shrunk." I said, "You got to understand. What they were trying to do is create a reasonable doubt." And then, of course, I got to explain to my kids, who was he? It's like, he used to play football. And so it was just very interesting to sit around here this weekend and kind of deal with that O.J. Simpson thing with my kids and them trying to watch that. So what have you guys been watching?
And real quick, Newy, when we get off the air, me and McCray got an interesting story about Cuba Gooding Jr. We'll discuss that off the air, though. We'll discuss that off the air. Go ahead, D-Mac. Go
ahead. Come on, man. Come on. Look, Newy, you'll like it. Classic. Yeah, you'll like it. I'm actually searching for new stuff to watch. Like I said, I finished up Money Heist. How to Get Away with Murder is back on, but I mean, that once a week stuff is killing me. Netflix has me spoiled, so I'm looking for something new to get into that I can binge watch. We started watching a show called Rain, but it's a little soapy for us, so we just can't sit there and watch it all day. So if y'all got some advice or some recommendations, let me know.
Oh, I got you covered, man. You just got to watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan come Sunday.
It don't come on till Sunday. I know that today's Friday. I got 2 days with time to fill.
I would suggest. All right, so I'm going to help you out even more here. You should get the book Michael Jordan: The Life by Roland Lazenby, and or The Jordan Rules by Sam Smith to get you ready for the documentary. Now, if you get The Life by Roland Lazenby, it's a 500-page book. Best thing I've ever read on Michael Jordan. Playing for Keeps that David Halberstam wrote about Michael Jordan is also sensational. So I would recommend in these next 2 days, McCray, go ahead, dive on into these Michael Jordan biographies, because you're young. You and Church are young guy. You guys don't remember Jordan. See, I saw Jordan play when I was living in Fayetteville, North Carolina, when he was Mike Jordan from Wilmington, North Carolina, playing for the Tar Heels. So I got a little more dive into this. Since
Church,
Michael is one of the great Omega Sci-Fi members of all time.
Church, you see how Newy did me? I told him to recommend me something to watch. He gave me 2 books. I'm trying to watch some TV. I got me and my wife over here looking for stuff to watch. We don't want to go buy 2 books and read to each other. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read that though. Newy, I'm gonna read it. But as far as something to watch,
I'm fresh out, man. I'm fresh out with ideas to watch. I'm on season 3 of the Money Heist. I mean, the like you said, what's that? How to Get Away with Murder, man. That's a good show. But like you said, it's once a week. So how can you stick with that? So I'm like you, man. I'm scraggling. I'm trying to find something to keep on TV.
Look, if you rewatch season 4 and 5 of The Wire, like I did a couple weeks back last month, that's worth your time now. That's good. That's good TV, man.
I can see that. I can see that. Newy, you still need to watch Sopranos. How about that? So get started.
You are correct. But you know what I've been doing, McCray and Church? I've been reading a lot. So I haven't hit as much TV. Now, one thing I did watch. Okay, here's one on HBO that I'm watching. It's about Christian Dawkins and that whole college basketball. I think it's called The Scheme. I can't remember something like that. But it's about Christian Dawkins and paying those coaches and everything, how the NCAA was going through all that whole deal with Sean Miller and Bruce Pearl, and then that dude down there at LSU, your boy who was cheating there, Dan.
Here you go.
What's his name? Bill? What's his name? Will? Whatever. What's his name?
I don't know, but I think my Bose headphones just showed up. I heard a knock at the door. How about that, Newy?
Yeah. So your boy out there like, we never paid a player at LSU. I'm like, So anyway, check that out. Right? That's 2 hours on HBO. So check that one out. That documentary is pretty good. Diego Maradona is another documentary that I watched on HBO back in February. Great soccer player, one of the greatest soccer players ever. It is a documentary worth watching. And you talk about our love of Michael Jordan and how popular he is. Diego Maradona's status across the world for being a great soccer player, man.
He cheated the World Cup. He cheated the World Cup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm telling you that is one heck of a documentary. So that's on HBO. So now I gave you something there, McCray.
All right, I'm good. I'll check them. I'm one of them starting today.
I'll tell you what, not to watch. That horse, that's trash.
That's trash.
Horse,
that's absolutely. See, this is a perfect example of trying to do too much. Like let it be, bro. You got nothing. You got nothing. Just let it be.
I'll tell you. The Women of Troy, okay? That's another one I watched on HBO, and it really dives into women's basketball and how great a player Cheryl Miller was. And I tell you, I was happy to see it because I have such respect. I remember watching Cheryl Miller play at USC, and those two great teams they had that won national championships. And Cheryl finished up 4 years at USC, played in 3 national championship games, won 2 of them. She ended up playing a pickup game against guys and blew out her knee. So we never got to see how great she was. And Cynthia Cooper was a player on the USC teams, but she was never as good as Cheryl. So when the WNBA finally started, and it happened late in Cynthia's basketball career, she comes over to the Houston Rockets, wins 3 MVPs, they win 4 championships, and she's hailed as the greatest player ever in the league history. When at the end of the day, if Cheryl played there, would have never happened. Cheryl ended up being the head coach of the Phoenix Mercury. But to see how great she is and how great Nancy Lieberman is and the effect that she had on women's basketball, that is well worth your time. It's called The Women of Troy, so you'll enjoy that.
Gotcha.
That's Reggie's sister, right?
Yes. Reggie Miller, Cheryl Miller. They're from Southern California. I've been with Cheryl a few times during the NBA playoffs when TNT had it. She worked for TNT, and I remember one time she was trying to interview a certain player, and we were both going to go in, and I backed off. I said, "No, you're the first lady hoops. You go ahead." And she was, and the respect that she had from younger guys, because so many times people talk about younger guys don't know who came before them. Everybody in these rooms, man, knew who Cheryl was, and she had ultimate respect. And you guys know as former players that of who gets respect in the locker room based on what they used to do. As a woman, I'm telling you, man, she had it from these NBA players.
That's amazing.
I'm down.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm
gonna check him out. Now let's check out Cam Newton to the Jags. I told you, we couldn't figure it out last week, Newy. Something that I think LSU heard us, so he wanted to answer that question for us. So now they want Cam Newton to go to Jacksonville. What you thinking?
For me, I saw about Fournette was trying to coax him to get him down there, and he was talking about where Cam. I think it would be a decent fit, man. I mean, SEC down there. Jacksonville is a huge SEC town, so I think they would love Cam down there. But I just they put all their ducks in the Gardner Minshew. They just let go of they just traded Foles, and then they they put all their ducks in for Gardner Minshew. So to bring in some more quarterback competition for him, I just don't think it would be a good idea.
Here's my question about Cam Newton to Jacksonville, and Barry, you can address this very well. Can Doug Marrone, his ego deal with Cam Newton? Because Cam Newton's not going to come in there to sit on the bench. Cam Newton's not coming in there and compete against Gardner Minshew. Cam Newton going to come in there and want to start. And Cam Newton is a guy that dudes love. It's like Allen Iverson, in the locker room. Guys love being around that dude. Is Doug Marrone going to be, secure enough to handle that?
I would say no. He has a better chance now than when Tom Coughlin was there. When Tom Coughlin was there, I would have said, hell no, there ain't no way in hell that's going to work out. But with Tom Coughlin gone, Doug Marrone, I still say no, but he has a better shot without Tom Coughlin breathing down his neck to kind of handle Cam Newton. But even with that said, I doubt they make that move.
All right, with the rest of our time here, let's go back to something you addressed in the Players Lounge earlier, Church, and that's Dak Prescott and wondering why they haven't paid him. Here's my take on it. The Cowboys kept trying to get discounts. And along the way, as they were trying to get the discounts, Dak kept betting on himself, and it paid off. I just think they don't want to pay the $35 million. But we know at the end of the day, they're going to have to pay the high number. It's what they've done for all these guys they wanted to have. And I've covered this team a long time. Covered Jimmy Johnson's last year with the Cowboys and Barry Switzer's first year. I've covered this team a long time. I've never seen the owner lose a player that he truly wanted. So I just think it's going to get done.
Yeah, I think it's going to get done too. I mean, here's a guy. I mean, there's no reason not to pay him. I mean, he's gotten better each in his first 4 years. I mean, he's won a division twice. He's got you a playoff game. I think he threw for 4,900 yards last year. I mean, so this is basically the gear that gets this offense rolling. I mean, and without him, I think it's a pedestrian offense at that. So you got to pay him his money. I'm just shocked and I'm surprised that it hasn't come through yet or hasn't come out yet. I mean, like you said, you paid the running back who had 2 years left on his deal. You paid the receiver top dollar. You paid everybody else top dollar. You think the most important position on the football team would get paid top dollar first, but they're making them wait. Maybe it's because, like you said, they don't want to pay that $35 million tag, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully they get it done because it would be a shame for him to have all these years and just be wasted on franchise tags like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I say that I want to say that they do pay him. Church, I want to throw out last year at least 1,500 yards of it. I'm still adamant on the trash yardage that he got in some of those games where the defenses they were just playing off and letting him throw whatever he needed to just so they can run out time off the clock and not lose. So it was 4,900, and everybody keeps saying he had this best stats last year. And a lot of it was trash yards. But the previous years of him taking them to the playoffs and the way he played, I think he deserves to get paid off of that. And I think they'll get it done.
I go back to two things here that I keep telling people. One, the owner's 77 years old. He's not trying to wait. He wants to win. And then two, just look at what Stephen Jones has consistently said. Deadlines make deals. And when have the Cowboys done a lot of their deals? They've done them at the deadline. You even think about Ezekiel Elliott last year, who had no leverage. They end up getting it done at the end. Why? The owner wanted to get this team on the football field and thought he had a Super Bowl chance, and the head coach wanted to have Ezekiel Elliott there, especially knowing he was on the final year of his deal. So here comes Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, and you guys already see and know, you're not able to work with these guys in the OTAs and have camp. You got to sit up here and put a veteran quarterback here. You can't sit around and go with Cooper Rush. It's going to get done. It's a matter of when, but there's no way this thing does not get done. If it gets done July 14th and it gets done July 14th on the deadline, because the deadline is July 15th, but they're going to get this deal done. Dak Prescott is going to be a Cowboys football player this fall. They're going to get a long-term deal. Jerry Jones even said he was part of the family, so I'm really not worried about it. It's going to get done.
So is Dez. Dez part of the family too.
You got Dez to Jacksonville? Is that it?
No.
Dez to Baltimore?
Dez going somewhere. I just don't know where yet. But according with Newy, with your timeline, like Church mentioned earlier, so that means Dak's going to miss OTAs and whatever the mini camp is, however that looks. He's going to miss all that because July 15th is when they'll get this deal done, or the 14th, somewhere around there.
Here's going to be the interesting part on that. What juice does Mike McCarthy have? If Mike McCarthy starts putting this stuff in, and he doesn't have him there, all it takes is Mike McCarthy just walking down there a little. Hey, Jerry, I need this guy. Because if to me, that's Dak's best. The best person he can have right now in his corner is Mike McCarthy. Because if the head coach is sitting here going to Steven and going to Jerry saying, I can't do what I need to do, man. We're going to be behind. We're not going to be where we need to be. We're going to possibly cost ourselves a shot in 2020 to be really good, or as good as we can be, because this guy's not here. So that, to me, is going to be something to pay attention to. What does the head coach, what kind of juice does he have with the owner to say, I really need my guy?
But is he not doing this already? I mean, did this not come with him getting hired here to know that he needed Dak, and that was in the conversation? And all of these months leading up to this, McCarthy had mentioned that he's going to be behind and he needs Dak to be here now?
Yes, but I come back to this. Once this stuff starts happening and it's not there, then, it takes on a different life of its own. I mean, you guys have been there. You guys have been there where you knew guys were, hey, so-and-so might not be here. Next thing you know, here's the OTA. I mean, remember Travis Frederick? Zach Martin. Oh, Zach Martin sat it on out. Once you start to see it and it's not there, it becomes a different. It's one thing to talk about it. Then when you see it, like, oh, Rutrow, then I think it takes on a different life of its own. So.
So I think that hurts Dak in this stance because they're not going to be on the field. Jared's not going to be able to look over from his tower or wherever he's going to look from now because it's not there and see that the team is being held back because Dak's not there. It's in his mind it could be, hey man, this is just film session. Dak's a smart guy. He'll be able to pick it up whenever, and we'll send him the playbook and he can study it on his own because he's a professional. I think this kind of hurts him in that sense.
Well, this means Cooper Rush will be the guy on the virtual trainings doing stuff. And I don't think that's what Mike McCarthy signed up for.
Yeah, it's a bad look. That's a bad look.
Ain't nobody signed up for that one.
It's a horrible look, but Dak won't be there on Monday, so it's going to be Cooper Rush for at least the next week.
Yeah, if I'm Dak, man, I'm just not showing up. I'm not showing up for OTA. I ain't showing up for nothing.
My internet is out. I can't log on.
Oh no! Just don't have. If you don't show up, just don't have a problem. And stop telling Dez to tweet out videos and photos of you. So that's what you do if you Dak. If you're not gonna be there, just go dark all the way. Just don't be seen. Don't do anything at all. Let's wrap this up with where we began, talking about the draft, because we are less than a week away. Next Thursday, the draft starts. Teams are going to be doing it virtually at 17 as of right now. Okay. Danny, give me your first round pick for the Cowboys at 17, then you, Barry.
I'm still in Barry's pick. I'm going Diggs. Corner, you lost Byron. I think that's one of those positions that you need to have somebody that can excel and play at and cut off half the field, and you assume that'll be Diggs at 17. I think that's what we had.
Well, since Danny stole my pick at 17 with Diggs, I'm going to have to say if they can't get Diggs and they can't get C.J. Henderson, the corner out of Florida, then I would have – all right, well, my 1A will be Diggs and my 1B will be his safety in Alabama, which is McKinney. They need both of them in Dallas, so if you can't get Diggs, go with McKinney at safety.
All right, I'm going to assume Okudah and Henderson are gone, and at 17, it's Diggs for me. And if it's not Diggs, TCU's Jeff Gladney. He's got a little track background as well, so give me those. But I'm definitely sitting at corner at 17 for the Cowboys. It is a position of need. They've got to give Mike Nolan some help on that defense. They've already taken care of the offense. You've got a guy in Mike McCarthy who can help them there. They've got to fortify that defense. I don't care if they're scoring 30 a game and they're giving up 34. I mean, you've got to start to stop somebody.
I think we're all in agreements, man. They got to go secondary on this one. It's a must.
Secondary,
but they might get a receiver. I'm just playing, Newy. I'm just joking.
I was about to say, man, don't
I'm just kidding.
Get me started on this wide receiver. If you want a wide receiver, start thinking day 3. Okay, day 3 is the earliest, but because the Cowboys need. Oh, see, you got me going now. The Cowboys need 3 guys in round 1, 2, and 3. They need 3 walk-in starters or guys who are going to make some serious contributions to this defense. They need some help. Help us. All right, the hour's flown by, fellas. This is always a fun thing to do here. So next Friday, we'll dive heavily into the Cowboys' first-round pick. Hopefully they make it. Forget this Jamal Adams stuff, okay? Jamal Adams, not giving up the 17 pick for Jamal Adams. It's not happening. So hopefully we're talking about a corner on Friday when we resume and do the Players Lounge. He's Danny McCray. He's Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. We thank you so much for your time right here on the Players Lounge, DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.